Who are you? I don't know, but I'm writing to you anyway. Where are you? How far in the future? Where'd you find my journal? Questions, and I began to feel how little I know.
Default? Ah, they're right. Okay, okay. There we go now.
I asked if I could leave. The elder had one condition for letting me go: that I take what I collect to the museum vault, a palace of art and memory at the edge of the earth. She says it's the only place safe from the turmoil of a changing season. I hope that's where you're reading this now. I can't stop the change that is coming, but this time on Earth could live on in these pages.
You know what? Hold on, guys. I'm sorry. I gotta just make sure that. Ah, here we go. Here we go. Now we got the right. Okay, that should be better.
Room, and I can hear my mom's voice.
Three, two, one. Hooray! Mr. Lotto's here.
You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna ask you to restart the game because I miss. I missed the whole intro due to how stupid. Let's play it. I missed the whole thing due to my setup not being set up properly.
Who are you? I don't know, but I'm writing to you anyway. Where are you? How far in the future? Where'd you find my journal? I may never know, but you can know me from what I put down on these pages. I come from a little village in the mountains. No one has left here since before I was born. But our lives changed overnight, just a few days ago when my best friend had a prophetic dream. A vision that the elder said means the season is going to end soon. The world is about to enter a new era. A great change is coming. Everyone was afraid. I was surrounded by questions and I began to feel how little I know. What is this season that is about to end, and why is it ending? What exactly is out there that could turn the world inside out? If there are still voices singing and laughing in the wilderness, I could record them before they're gone. I also thought of my dad, who always wanted to see the outside world but never did. So, I asked if I could leave. The elder had one condition for letting me go: that I take what I collect to the museum vault, a palace of art and memory at the edge of the earth. She says it's the only place safe from the turmoil of a changing season. I hope that's where you're reading this now. I can't stop the change that is coming, but this time on Earth could live on in these pages. What it looks like, sounds like, how it feels to be alive right now. I'm writing to you at the crack of dawn on the morning I leave home. I can smell breakfast cooking in the other room, and I can hear my mom's voice.
Three, two, one. Hooray! Mr. Lotto's here.
My bag and Dad's camera, ready for the great departure. The burner's on the table, ready to make a pendant. Mom is cooking sweet bark soup. She got out some old tapes.
You're up. What are you doing standing there? Time to get going. It's gonna be a beautiful morning. I'm making progress. I found the burner, camera, recorder, travel bag. Breakfast is in progress. Still gotta make a pendant. We haven't used this in so long. Good thing I saved the instructions. Just as you would use a shield to protect your body, an identity pendant protects your mind. Your thoughts, memories, everything that makes you, you. We don't wear them here in the village anymore, but if you're going into the outside world, I'll feel better when you've got a pendant shielding you. Diseases of the mind, like the dream sickness. We don't know what caused it. We heard people suddenly fell into an eternal sleep. These were years of wild rumors, and half of them turned out to be true. In times of war, a pendant can be used to identify a body. Let's skip that part. Objects have two layers, the physical and the mental. The pendant needs to absorb both. 1. Collect a sentimental object for each sense: sound, smell, feel, sight, taste. 2. Feel the sense and speak aloud a memory of the object. 3. Feed the object into the burner. The memory will leave the speaker as it is transferred to the pendant. That means I'll forget the memory after I say it. It's supposed to be painless, at least. Okay, so this old tape should work for our sense of sound. I remember you and I fell asleep listening to this tape. Your dad came home. We all rested together until it got dark. What an odd feeling. Like an absence, disappearing. The empty space fills itself back in until I forget that I forgot anything at all. I'm glad I'm only losing a few memories. If I lost too many, I wouldn't even know who you are. You should pick the rest of the objects. I'll lose the memories, but you'll have them in a pendant forever. So they should be important to you. They should be parts of your identity you want to be sure to protect. So think about what these items and what the memories would preserve about you. Let's do smell next. Find an object with a strong odor and that holds a piece of you.
Sweet wax honey. How I've tried to save things. Ancient perfume, sweet. Nothing is ever lost. Childhood. Too sweet, too old. I always wanted to experience new things. Nothing. I used to see souls everywhere. Granite, seaside, darkness. This speaks to how my mom loves me. Nothing. I was born in the glow of my parents' love. Nothing. I remember who my dad was. Tangled nest, sour play. This speaks to how my dad loved me.
What did you choose for smell? Let's breathe in deep. I remember. You used to take him everywhere with you. One night, you forgot him in the plaza. It was cold and rainy that night. But your dad leaped into action as if the doll was a real member of the family. I have this image of his face as he ran out into the storm, completely serious, no hesitation. And when your dad returned with the doll, I forgot for a moment that he's just fabric, stitched into the form of an animal. It felt as if he had a soul, because you'd projected one into him. What was dear to you was dear to us. That was... we were whole for a little while. Pick something with a texture you like.
My hand in my own hand. This speaks to how my mom loves me.
So what did you end up choosing? Okay, put your hand in the hand. Oh, I remember it so well. It's not as bad now, but in the old days, not many children lived long enough to grow up. We believed if a child could make it to the age of 9, they'd be all right. This print was made of your hand when you turned 9. Your father and I couldn't believe we really had a healthy girl. An old deep fear inside of me finally went away. And we saw you would just keep growing and growing. That everything was going to be okay. I'm fine. Let's do sight next. Pick something that looks nice.
An unlit tower. I was loved by people I have no memory of. Mom and Dad before I was born. I was born in the glow of my parents' love.
So, what did you end up choosing? I remember. This was the night I told your dad I was pregnant with you. There was a party in the plaza. I didn't have anything to drink, just water. He didn't wonder why. At the end of the night, I told him I was pregnant. And he was so happy and so surprised that he threw up. For taste, we can eat breakfast and feed some to the burner. The memory I'll lose is the one we're forming right now. I want you to have it forever. Standing here, you're having a last taste of home. Now you're protected by lost memories. A gem of home around your neck. This is my only condition for letting you go. You must promise me never to take the pendant off. And never tamper with it. Okay? Then I'm okay with you leaving. I think your camera and bag are still in your room. It's time to gather them up. I've lost so much. How could the world ask me to lose you too? Look at us. There we are. There we were. We'll always be right here on this beautiful morning.
I just performed a ritual with my mom. The moment has passed, but I'll record it in these pages for you, for the future. I never knew when my mom would share a memory of Dad while cooking, on a walk, with no warning. It knocked the wind out of me. Rituals take this grief and give it a shape and a story. Filling in this journal is a ritual too, but for a loss that hasn't hit us yet. I've brought tools to record the sights and sounds of this season. I'll start by recording the only place I've ever known. Last night there was a goodbye party here in the plaza. Everyone was so afraid for me. To understand that fear, to understand where I grew up, you have to know the man standing watch over the plaza, Dr. Fumio. This is Dr. Fumio and his son. The statue isn't as old as it looks. The artist wore it down to give it a feeling of ancientness and the authority that comes with it. Dr. Fumio and his son founded Cairo back in 776. They live on through our traditions. There are 3 murals celebrating Dr. Fumio's work. Remembering everything must be painful. Dr. Fumio brought peace to so many people here. Last night, my friends wrote down their hopes for my trip and tied them to the branches of this tree. Smells like an old man's toes dipped in cinnamon. I had to drink this gross potion last night. Like my pendant, it's supposed to protect my brain. Dr. Fumio said the dream sickness was caused by something very powerful. He wasn't able to cure it. Pate's little daydream of leaving this place, of seeing something weird. This is a healing instrument created by Dr. Fumio. It draws on the pure mountain air. There's something eerie about an instrument that plays itself. But wind chimes aren't eerie. I think the self-playing instrument needs to imply the presence of a person who isn't there, like this one does, to be properly eerie. A village that was created as a place to heal. Is that where my instinct to try to help comes from? It's so strange to imagine I'll be shaped by places and people I haven't met yet. So strange to imagine that I might feel at home somewhere else. The elder sought out Dr. Fumio to cure her mother, who was suffering from time misperception. Dr. Fumio was an important person, but we also just have a need to put a human face on events that are beyond our control. He may have felt just as scared and helpless as everyone else. I go fishing here with my best friend Pate, even though there's nothing to catch. We both appreciate the silence. The ruins in the distance were used to make us afraid of the outside world. Dangerous and impossible to reach, they said. Caro Village was founded during the modernity. Much later, Dr. Fumio arrived and remade it in his image. This flower means you're in my thoughts. The morning after the search was called off for Dad, our doorstep was covered in them. A trip just as slow, reliable, and oddly satisfying as life itself in this little village.
Is it recording?
Yes.
Okay. How to leave home for my daughter. Find a sacred square of earth. Lay down so you have the dirt at your back. Close your eyes. Close everything. Do you see for yourself? You see for the dead, for the unborn. Do you listen for yourself? You listen for the dead, for the unborn. Your ancestors are in that dirt. All the living and all the dead are holding you up. Now, stand. They're still there, aren't they? It's time to move, to entangle yourself everywhere with everyone. So the next time you lay down in the dirt, you will have so much more to tell them.
I've always wondered what's on the other side of this gate. Today, I'll find out. These bikes were used by messengers a long, long time ago. Pate fixed up 3 bikes instead of 1. Most of what I've seen from the outside world probably arrived in a cart like this. I feel nourished in these sights by the unfamiliarity of it all. These means of connection, long in disuse, are certainly telling me something about the world. Will they be used again in the next season? This building is made from the same kind of materials as my village. It must have been built around the same time. I can see in these letters that the outside world has extremes, of beauty and tragedy beyond anything I've known. They were right. The letter never made it. The season before this one, the war, seems so horrible. Before setting up in Cairo village, Dr. Fumio roamed the land curing people. It must have been hard when he wasn't around anymore, especially for people who couldn't travel to the village. From the village, these cranes look like little creatures, grazing. I had no idea how huge they are. I heard that village was abandoned because of a mind disease. Not every community had someone like Dr. Fumio to perform cures. That poor baby. Traders used to come to the outskirts of the village. The war put an end to this. I heard at some point the tides got less predictable. Places flooded that never had before. A crane to move materials around. The things that used to be possible. I forgot what I was going to say. We learned about old technology in school, but not much about animals. What are these strange goat-like creatures? Are they simply goats? My first time petting an animal. I think it went pretty well. I cycled through landscapes, seeing them for the first and last time. I had no idea when I left my home how the season would end, or more importantly, how soon. On a cold, damp day, I feel true loneliness for the first time. Nobody could have described with words how big this world is, how it goes and goes. I passed through it, where others passed before me. The blades turn, but I bet they don't generate any power. Probably just swirling the air around. This person wanted the season to change. Why? Time seems to pass differently around here. I feel so heavy and so light at the same time. I'm not really alone. I'm with myself. I'm with the earth. One melody is like me out here alone. I can't really live like this. They used the walls like I use my journal. Two voices is like me and my mom. We can survive, but eventually you need more. Three voices is complex as life is supposed to be. I could listen forever. They kept themselves company with music. Looks like they made it out of here. But what is this group? In the empty places, I found companionship in the tapes I recorded before leaving home. The elder told me the story of her life. I listened back to it, ready to note down anything that seemed important.
Let's set the scene for the listener, whoever that might be. This is the elder speaking. We're sitting in the plaza, saying goodbye to a dear soul. We're here to see if there's anything useful in my mind that could help you on your trip. A century's worth of memories, dreams, fantasies, visions. Like a big, old, haunted library. When I die, this library will burn down. But which book should we check out first? I don't have all the answers, but I do feel the story of my life could help you understand what kind of world is out there. It's okay not to understand everything right away. The moment may pass before you've gotten a firm hold on it. But as long as you're there to witness it, to take it down in your journal, you and others to come will someday take the time to make sense of it all. Francis Cale, if you must know. You can call me Frank, or Elder, or the Elder, or Elder Frank. You know, whatever. I don't care. I was born on the ocean. My mother and father worked on a cruise ship. The short-lived but glorious watery republics. Floating cities. Most won their independence by the time I was born. How can I describe them? They were a jewel of the golden season. Pleasure boats with a radical political program. How nice. The golden age was a time of flags, logos, mottos, mastheads. My mom taught me to read them. She was the ship's philosopher. My dad was a recycling engineer. Recycling on the ship was a matter of life and death. We had to get the most out of every object and watt of energy. My grandparents played with the past. They changed it like we change our wardrobe. So it was a different answer every time. But they often said we were exiles of some kind. Exiled royalty from a secret lineage. Blood that glows in the dark. Or we're exiled from the mouth of some great leviathan. When they were older, they just said, we're from here. We're from right now. I loved the way the ship would tilt and roll with the waves, especially as I fell asleep. It was so comforting. Picture me as a kid in bed, feeling the swaying of the ship. It was like being rocked to sleep as a baby. I loved exploring the ship too, wandering through the suites, the swimming pool, the game rooms, and oh, there were 2 dance halls, a large, elegant one and another one in the basement. A lot of my firsts were down there, my first dance, my first kiss, and so forth. Our ship was taken over in the early days of the war. That was the end of the watery republics. I heard the dance hall in the basement became a weapons cache. Took me half my life to say goodbye to the world I knew in my youth. Imagine me and my parents and everyone I knew being escorted off the ship by a company of soldiers. And I'm thinking, I hope they don't make a mess of my room. I was embarrassed by the younger kids who were crying their eyes out, but they knew, I guess. Even as things got bad, I couldn't imagine the changes were permanent. It's easy now to look back and say, the internationalism of the golden season was violently breaking down. You can be naive about all kinds of things, but not war. Most of my life has been spent in isolated communities, and the one moment I was in the wild world, you couldn't pick a more chaotic time. And we had been warned the season was going to end. Oh, but we didn't understand the warning. You see, one night, along a coastline, we saw beautiful lights shimmering above the water. Later, we found out this was an ancient warning system. It hadn't been used in so long. We didn't know what it meant. We just thought, well, ain't that pretty? We tried to stick together and camped out on the coast of the prismatic grounds. A kingdom of art, and they got rich during the golden season. Everything that made them beloved before the wealth came. Passionate, uncompromising, self-obsessed, made them unbearable once they had power. Artists make terrible kings. Are you sure you want me to keep going? The story gets darker from here on. Okay, conditions in the camp were getting worse. My mom got lost in thought for long periods of time. She'd be completely still for hours, days even. We realized she caught, well, now we call it time misperception disorder. It's when you lose your ability to tell how much time is passing. A minute can feel like an hour. A day can pass in 10 seconds. We don't know exactly. Our consciousness is delicate. There are minerals and sounds that can adjust it. Dr. Fumio's greatest fear was that someone would use this as a weapon. We heard about a traveling doctor who could cure these kinds of diseases. I decided to go find him. I found out his name was Dr. Fumio, and he traveled with his son Lucio. People talked about him like he was a god. I described my mom's condition to Dr. Fumio. He said there was no cure yet, but there was a village high in the mountains. He thought it was high enough he'd have a better chance at treatment. Lower places are more dangerous. Valleys are the worst. He invited me to join them in going to the village, but I wanted to go back and get my parents and bring them with me. I packed my things and got ready to leave the next morning. That night, my mom came to me in a dream. She was standing in a field of flowers. I'd grown since I last saw her. We were the same height. She pressed a finger hard into my palm. She taught me well. I knew the meaning of the gesture. I knew no matter what I did, I'd never see my parents again. In the morning, I told Dr. Fumio I would follow him to Karo village. The next few weeks were very physically tiring, hiking, climbing. And when we found the village, building, planting, cleaning, Fumio brought sick people from all over the world, and they got better. The treatments worked. Everyone was healing. So why couldn't I? One day, we got word the war was over. We never found out how it ended. It was like peace just swept over the earth in a split second. There was a party in the plaza to celebrate the end of the war, but I couldn't bring myself to go. Yes, it was over, but it had taken my home, my family. That night, as I was falling asleep, I felt the bed tilt and sway gently, as if it was being tossed on the waves of the ocean, as if I was back in my bedroom on the ship, as if I was back in my mother's arms, being rocked gently to sleep. I knew I was finally home, and nothing could hurt me.
I imagine coming upon a place as hidden and singular as my own village. Eventually, I found myself circling a valley, looking for a way in. This valley is asking people for a visit. I should oblige it. This is a truly enormous, impassive structure. skeletal version of the kind of billboard I saw earlier. The elder warned me about valleys. She said they were dangerous. I feel a dulcet tension in the air. I enter to see the moment between seasons. We never used this kind of technology in my village. Nobody trusted it. Must be a car, but it looks weird. I haven't seen one like this in my books.
Oh. The valley. One second.
What will happen when we do as instructed and gather around this fake person?
Is that a strotofop? Yeah, what are they called? What is it? I love old gear like that. It's getting more and more rare. I had a camera, but it broke. Not that interesting of a story. What are you doing here? The whole thing, huh? You're young. You got time. What kind of stuff are you recording? Oh yeah, civilization they call it. The valley would be a good place to use those tools. Too bad it's closed down. Let me finish up here, huh?
I'm not the first to do this, just the first in a long time.
Hey. This was like a second home for a while. That was fun earlier when you showed up. And I was carrying the cardboard man. You were like, who are these guys? I've been pretty bored here. You know, the valley's going to be flooded soon. That's why nobody can go in there. The dam is falling apart. It's too old. There's nobody left who knows how to repair it. We're taking it down so we'll know when it'll collapse. It gives us time to evacuate everyone. Greyhounders. We're a community organization. We do all kinds of fun stuff. Health clinics, mine sweeping, daycare, evacuations, weddings. We're new. It was supposed to be because we're helpful yet neutral. We took a vote and decided to change the name, though. We want something more friendly sounding. I'm excited to find out what it will be. We're trying to get new things going. But it's hard. The past really has a tight grip on people. Doesn't feel like a fair fight. So we're trying to... well... anyway. It's funny. I stood guard here for a week. And I've only seen greyhounds like myself. And valley people on their way out. But now I see you, and you're like a... new element or something. I've never met anyone doing what you're doing. And we greyhounds gotta support new things. So... I'm not supposed to let anyone in. How can I? Jeez. I think you should go down into the valley and take a look. Gotta try something here. Dang it. I was trying to wink. Well, you get the idea. Go on and put that old gear to use. You can take my map of the valley, too. I don't need it anymore. I'll be down to pick everyone up around midnight. See you then.
I met a greyhound. He let me into the valley. I think he wanted me to record what the greyhounds were up to. And he gave me a map. The assembly point seemed like a good place to start. I wonder what he expects me to discover in the valley. It seems like I'll have to wait for night to enter the shrine. I'll think about what kind of visitor I want to be. All above will remain, all below will wash away. I am probably the last person that will ever be welcomed here by this sign. The elder told me there's very little information about the years before 500. I have wondered about the lives beneath unkept graves. I wonder what the flowers have to say.
God of sleep, I've been gathering heartache, and I've been gathering courage. If my big prayer is wrong, if it goes against divine will, please spare the people of this valley. We're so desperate for peace.
A memory told over and over again. All the rituals for the dead in my village require the body, so we couldn't perform them for my dad. But I can make my life a ritual for his memory. She must have been important to have such an elaborate solitary tomb. These metal animals are looking up, expectantly. A green space. I feel memory in the air like pollen. It reminds me of a poem my dad was never able to finish. The first line was, "If you want to awaken the dead, just whisper."
The people here are so weak.
I heard gunshots last night.
That was us. What is that?
Look at the pond, the water.
What is that pattern?
Should we run or something?
Something frightening happened in this memory. But what was it? Will the last voice to cry out in the wilderness not even be human? The artist has depicted the Greyhands as a child. They don't have faith in their capabilities, but see them as innocent? Is that your name on your collar? Let's see. You are Madrigal. This machine looks powerful. It must have done the work of many people. And you are Mata. The sound of this bell has a lot of character. A little crane, like the ones I saw on the outskirts of my village, but made of wood. And your name is Toupette. I wonder who named you that. Cows from all over the world came here to compete in cow stuff? The golden season seems like such a different world. These people had to leave so much behind.
Wow, we got a big show today.
Huge show.
Breaking news. The Greyhands have died.
We're being reborn, baby.
And we're taking suggestions for our new name.
Live on the air suggestions from the rank and file.
You don't even need to be a Greyhand to suggest a name.
True, true.
The number to call is 0019. That is 0019. First caller, hit us with a name.
Hi, yeah. I was thinking the bricklayers.
Okay. Bricklayers.
Laying some bricks. Well, yeah, thanks for the suggestion.
We'll be taking them all afternoon, so keep them coming.
That number again is 0019. You're listening to Greyhand Radio. We are broadcasting live from Greyhand HQ.
And we're gonna take a little break.
If the Greyhands are changing their name, you'd know them as something else. You are a cow and you are named Krasnahorkai. A beautiful cow named Gorp. The name of this cow is TVC15. Oh my. Filled with grain for the future. The farmer didn't know they wouldn't need it.
Wow, we got a big show today.
Huge show.
Compared to my village, they lived in the open here. They lived on the land itself. I hope in the future, at least some people are still living like that.
I recognize you.
Yeah?
You're the famous doctor. That's your boy. The one with the visions. I'm right, aren't I? I won't tell nobody.
We're just passing through.
I have a niece. She hears things. Voices of the dead.
I can't help you.
Please, give it some thought.
I can't treat anyone here in this valley. This is not a place to get well.
Where is?
I'm working on that. Take care.
It's surreal to find a piece of Dr. Fumio's past so far away from Cairo. This flower has a shimmering quality. My mom told me a story about a special gateway. Passing through it took years off your life, trading time for distance. I suppose I'm doing the same, just very slowly, very gradually. I smell hay, rust, and old warmth. Music from a trio of performers, the metal, the breeze, and my mind. A symbol and a name, the Din. These stones must represent the three gods of the valley. Their names seem important. Din, Din, Din. Like an echo from the past. This stone is to worship the tide. The tide, something calm that comes and goes. There is a subtle but pronounced smell coming from beyond these gates. Fruit and incense. A different symbol and name. The void. Sounds ominous. This must be for writing something. But what? It'll open at night. We have Dr. Fumio's cures to negotiate with the exigencies of life as a conscious being. Here they have a religion. The form changes, our needs remain the same. Cairo, we have a statue to remember Dr. Fumio. But this statue is meant to be worshipped. Those slips are prayers to this god for sleep? Tide.
Oh. I prayed to see you again. I didn't expect it would be in a dream. Life listens and then it does what it wants. We have to make do, darling. I've been thinking about how much the season needs you, and how the season after that will need you desperately. I wish I could help, but this is a brief dream. What can we say? Oh, what did you... Okay, I will. We all will. When I wake up, I'll tell everyone. We'll make as many pendants as we can. I don't know if you will, but I know I will see you again. For so long, I'll think it'll never happen. I'll almost make peace with having lost you to the world. But then, all the work of my grief undone in a moment. When I saw you again, I wept and I laughed. Someday you'll have a child of your own. Someday he'll want to see the village where his mom was born, and I'll be here waiting for him. We'll stand together, just like this. I have 1,000,000 questions for him, and he'll have 1,000,000 questions for me. But before we can say a word, I'll look into his eyes, and I'll see you looking back at me. Take care, my darling. It's time to wake up now.
This god put me to sleep. I got to talk to my mom. Sleep is the shadow life that connects us all. It gives a cycle to our days, a reset, a reflection, remembering and forgetting at the same time. That didn't seem to work. That didn't seem to work. Weird. This looks like it was drawn by a child. The memory of war lingers, but the gray hands are guiding people somewhere else.
Everyone's here. She's really going to do it. How can she be sure?
The shrine is protected.
How does she know?
Sonia knows.
How can she be sure? She can't know for sure. This has never happened before, has it? I don't want this. We need to leave. Let's just run.
Wait. Do you hear that?
Oh, God.
We're going to be okay. It won't be over soon.
Who is Sonia? What did she do to protect the people of the valley? All my life I've heard solemn references to the war. It never reached our village, but it touched the lives of our grandparents. What happened here in the valley, and how did it end? They believe a prayer put the soldiers to sleep. Is that possible? This must be the dream sickness. They'll sleep forever. I don't know what it's like to be that hungry. The elder showed me this symbol. The soldiers are from the prismatic grounds. That last line is kind of disconcerting. Their friends and family know what happened to them? Is she still waiting? This is an actual car. They used to be everywhere. The scale of the old world grew beyond human proportion, maybe beyond human feeling. The parking lot will never die. I've seen pictures of cars before. They were common in the golden season. This car seems to be named Honk Honk. It says to go to the assembly point. I must have missed it on my way here. I'm looking at a memorial to the lost, the killed, and the maimed. We are so lucky the war never came to Cairo village. This machine fueled countless tourists motoring into the valley. Supply lines must have been cut off when the war started. Music from a trio of performers. The metal, the breeze, and my mind.
I've always prayed when I needed something. But now I just want to thank you. The calm you brought over the world. I'm in love with this silence. This moment. We're going to live. And we're going to remember.
I can hear the relief in their voice. This must be after the end of the season of war. And the seventh cow's name was Balto. I've never drank cow's milk, let alone some kind of frozen version.
Stay where you can hear me, okay?
Thank God they have electricity down here.
Did you hear from your friend in the Watery Republic? Which one is it?
The Topaz. We can get a ride with them on the coast.
Great. And we're really just gonna leave the car behind.
That's a junker anyway.
Beautiful.
I told you 786 would be our year. I sang you that whole song about it.
They sound so free and happy, just roaming around the world.
Oh, thank God someone is still down there. I've been trying to get a hold of someone for hours. Ah, thank you. I forgot the Day Zero materials. You know, the visual literature, the warm bath of ideas? I left it at the dig site. It should be sitting on a barrel with a fruit sticker on it. Oh, wait! Hold on. I forgot to do the secret password. I don't even know who you are. Is it too late now, you think? Okay. What day is the day after tomorrow? Phew, okay. I did figure you'd be... Sorry, I didn't recognize your voice. Hard to keep track of all the new recruits. What else was I gonna say? There was vandalism on a few of the posters. Bad stuff. I put them in the trash. Keep an eye out for more. Anyways, thanks for answering. The Day Zero material is in the dig site, pretty sure. It should be sitting on a barrel that has a fruit sticker on it. You know, I guess I was going to say you could bring it to me, but the flood will destroy it anyway. So actually, I was worried for nothing. Everything is lost in a flood. God, we really know what we're doing. I'm excited for this all to be over. I'm excited for this all to begin. Bye-bye now.
Nobody is here. Guess it's too late for me to register. There must be a lot of people going to the city if they need to keep track of them with cards. Imagine if the man I met is the only living Greyhound, and the rest are cardboard. The Greyhounds want to end this season. They say they're going to build the next season. How? It's hard to imagine something new, a new way of living, but they're trying. The elder also said low places are dangerous. The city is high up like my village. Maybe it is safer. They had to leave so much behind. The Grey Hands seem to care what people think about them. There seems to be suspicion about the real condition of the dam and why it's being taken down. sounds like they want to adapt their organization to the people in it, and not the other way around. The process of taking people out of the valley was also a kind of ritual, a way of bridging one life to another. They know the world they're leaving. The next one hasn't been created yet. Looks like there's no one around anymore to enforce this. For every working truck or bicycle, there is always a pile of broken ones, rated to scrape together just enough parts to get one working. I wish Pate could call this hotline to talk about his heavy dream. There are a lot of these signs. They must really want to keep people out of this area. These signs are so demanding. I can't imagine them in my village. I found a dig site that is fenced off from view. What were they doing here? A greyhound said he left his materials behind. It should be somewhere around here. The work at the dig site has something to do with Day Zero. This is the kind of brain trouble my mom warned me about. There's a big tree with a researcher's notebook inside it somewhere. They look relieved to have finished their work. What we do to the land eventually makes its way into our blood and our brains. This can define a season. Memories and emotions condensed into a mineral. I wonder what this channel is for. They must have already shipped out all the harpic they need. I wonder what's on this reel. What is Day Zero? Maybe I can find out more about it. They dug up all that harpic in order to conduct some sort of prayer on Day Zero.
I've recreated the same setup as the prayer statues, right here in my workshop. I set up a singing bowl so I can verify the pattern that will form in the water. And some harpic, of course. Each god seems to correspond to a resonating frequency. And when this vibration acts on the harpic, we get the psychoactive response. Going to give it a try here.
I remember watching my dad make shadow puppets on the wall. Felt strange because I could see how it was done. I could see the trick of it, but it still felt kind of magical.
It worked. I do feel the more I do this, the more tired, and it feels like it takes me longer to return to the present. But now I have some control. I face the question of how this mineral affects the soil. I still have a lot of work to do. That's all for today.
A mineral that can affect the mind. The Grey Hands present one side to the public, and another is hidden behind metal fences. There is no one to oppose them. There is only my record of what they did here. I'm not sure I can go through that again. The memories of the owner now turned into a beautiful mineral.
The necessity of day zero is not just psychological, it's ecological. Because there is a compounding effect to these minerals and their psychological effect. And we see this in Tiang Valley. There is a memory and a memory of a memory and a memory of a memory of a memory. This echo effect, this recursive nature is the problem. As this cycles through the ecosystem, it creates points of pressure where things bleed, and soil and human minds are contaminated. Some will say, what's a few daytime visions? But it is an increasing risk. and increasing danger. Left alone, the haunted quality of this season will only get worse. The necessity of day zero is also to... This particular action will neutralize this phenomenon at its source. This is not an endless cycle. We are putting an end to this psychoactive material, and we are opening up space for something new.
How do they plan to remove the haunted quality of this season? The info sign earlier said they are dangerous in large numbers. I have a pendant, though. Has the power of this god decayed like the statue? Or is it as strong as ever? The year of the din? Was that how they recorded years in the olden days? These slips are prayers to this god for forgetting things. Void. I pray to the god of forgetting. I pray to the void to take a memory from me. There was a moment of hesitation between my pendant and the god. Did I really want this? If I did, my pendant would allow it. This god is not to be played around with. That didn't seem to work. I'm sure these critters will escape the valley before the flood. bird stole a small trinket. I left the bird its prize, but maybe I can learn more about the locket. The tree looks diseased in this painting. The tree looks healthy. The ritual must have worked. This flower was broadcasting music. No words for the feeling of a brand new tombstone. The text is barely legible. 3 aphorisms from the young. 1. Time moves us when we move not. There is no time. It looks like a set of aphorisms. Now to find the rest. Unlit candles being drowned in a flood, a loss of potential light, potential prayers. Music from a trio of performers, the metal, the breeze, and my mind. There isn't enough room for a cemetery in my village. Here, memory is granted space. Land is used to let the living meet the dead. Or maybe it's the other way around.
Cold night in the winter, I'll go. Sorry that I fall away sometimes. Sorry that I fall away sometimes. Yeah. The end. Got to end it all on the weekend. Sorry that I feel that way sometimes. Sorry that I feel that way sometimes. Oh. You don't really wanna know me. Hanging in the corner with a nosebleed. High on whatever they sold me. That's the old me, yeah. 6 years later trying to find me. Still trying to figure out the line. Peace. Looking for the love inside me. that way sometimes.